Like, when someone is putting the books out, how in the world are they going to know where to put the books? Well, by looking at the book itself and understanding what the book's about. So things like the title of the book are important, maybe the picture on the front of the book. It's going to help the store owner understand where the book belongs. So that way when somebody comes into the store looking for a book on how to fix their pipes, they're going to know they'll be able to find a book that talks about that. Now there's a second part of this too, because we all know that whenever you go to a bookstore, certain books are going to be promoted, and who chooses which ones are promoted? Well, the book owner is typically told, this book is really good. Make sure you put this one out in the front shelf. And that's a similar thing with the websites. We need to tell the search engines specifically that your site is important, and that is done by having lots of valuable and relevant backlinks that are websites that link to you. So again, two parts to SEO. First, your website needs to be what we call optimized, and number two, it needs to be promoted. In other words, it needs to have links pointing to it. Because when I talk about links, you have to understand that ranking in the search engines is a lot like an election. Basically, usually the way that an election works is that the person that gets the most votes wins. And also the way that influence works is that not all votes are necessarily equal. And you see this all the time in media. If somebody important endorses someone else, it means a lot more than just some Joe Schmo representing someone. Same thing with the search engines. So let's think about this. When Google looks and tries to figure out, Baltimore Plumber, who was the most relevant result to rank at the top? They're going to look, of course, at the website, but they're also going to look at all the chatter across the internet. How many times is this website being talked about other places? Does this place have a Facebook page? Are they being mentioned on Facebook? Are they being mentioned on YouTube? Are they being mentioned on who knows what? The different places. And the more times you're being mentioned, the multiple places, the better you're going to be. I created a diagram of it. Essentially what this is these are all different multiple sites, and this is what I do. I help websites rank well in the search engines, and the way that I do that is I set up shop on all these different popular websites, and I build links that point to the main site, and then I even build links to those places. It gets pretty complex, but you don't need to worry about that right now. The point that I'm trying to make is that in order to rank well, you need to have a lot of chatter online. You need to have a lot of links pointing to your site. These links are gold. What a good SEO campaign looks like in 5 easy steps. Okay, so we already talked now about the importance of ranking on the internet. Now we want to talk about how in the world that ranking happens, and what I do, what other SEO people do. First thing we do is the search behavior of the local area is identified, and a list of specific keywords to target is established. What that means is what we've done already. If you're a plumbing business, we go out and we take a look and get an idea of how many people are out there that are searching for your business and what keywords they would use to find your business. Then we'll take your website and we will what we call as on-page optimization. This is where we take your site and we give it a bit of a mix-up. We're not going to typically we don't come in and change things too much. I know that a lot of you have spent a lot of money to create a specific marketing message on your site, and I'm not looking to change that. What we want to do is just make sure that there's two different ways that we want to communicate from your website. We want to make sure that people will buy your product, obviously, but we also want to make sure that the search engines understand what your site's about. And there's specific ways that we have. There's things that are in the code of the website that we can tell the search engines specifically what your site's about. We want to make sure that we do those types of things. This includes things like meta tags, they print the keywords on your site, and just other things that typically whenever you build a website you don't think about, because you're not doing it for the search engines, you're doing it for the people that come to the website, and then that causes a problem when you want to perform well in the search engines. Then we take a look at your competition. We look and see who is ranking on that front page, who's in first, who's in second place, and try to figure out what they did to get there so we can duplicate it. And think about it. If we were able to take a look and find what the secret was to your top 3 competitors, and we did all those things, that would give us enough energy to overshoot all of them. And that's what we want to do. So once we have a game plan, then the next thing you would want to do is create an intensive and thorough backlink building campaign, which means going all these different places that we've already talked about, YouTube and Facebook and article directory sites, just different places where it's good for your search engine to be, where it's good for your website to be mentioned, and we drop links, and we do it very naturally. Then, of course, the ongoing results are studied and analyzed, and the campaign is adjusted accordingly. This is I say me a lot because this is how I would do it. I just want you to understand that if you ever think about doing SEO services, that you go with someone that's going to do something like this, that you understand what their mission is, and they're going to first take a look at the competition and then create a plan accordingly to help you get good results. That's how I would do it. So I've been talking a lot about backlinks, and backlinks really is a really important term when you talk about SEO. Where do they come from? Well, lots of places. Authority websites such as local business directories, local business groups like the Chamber of Commerce, other local directories in your area. Social networking sites like Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn and all other kinds of buzzwords that maybe you hear your kids using but you have no idea what they mean. Articles or pieces of information that are written about the business and distributed across the net. Videos that can be promoted on YouTube. I'm sure that a lot of you have expensive commercials that you spend a lot of money on, and they're just sitting on a disc somewhere in your business because you're no longer paying for them to air on TV. Well, you know what? Put them on YouTube. Microblog websites such as Squidoo, WhatPaint, eHow, and tons and tons and tons more. In addition to just additional creative methods as well. Just what all can we do to get the word out about your website? What is going to help the search engines understand more about what your site is? Now, for those of you that just want to they're looking to go home and get some links to your site, that's great. I want to give you a few tips. You want to make sure that whenever you get a link from somewhere, that it's a live link pointing to your site. And if you don't know what that is, I'd be happy to talk to you more about it. I'm not going to bore you with the code right now, but you need to make sure that the search engines can see that it's an actual link that you can click on and it brings you to your site. Ask your friends, your colleagues to get a link to you. Let's say, for example, that you're in the Chamber of Commerce. Of course you want to have a link from them to your site because, again, when the search engines come through and they come to the cities here, Chamber of Commerce, if you have a link from there, it's going to provide credibility in the search engines. You also want to take the time to submit your business to the local business directories, including the Google Local Business Directory, which is incredibly important. Of course, you can also hire an SEO firm to build backlinks for you. Because an SEO firm, keep in mind, it's something that they do all the time, and they know what to do, and ideally they've done things that have really worked for other people too, so they can help you replicate that as well. Okay, now I just want to stop the presentation for a second here. The next part of the presentation is optional based on what you are doing in your personal business. I'm going to talk about Facebook. I'm going to talk about email marketing, tracking statistics, things that mobile websites, things that you may or may not want to use, but I'm going to go through them as it was on my presentation. So back on track. Presentation back on. Okay. Next I want to talk to you about Facebook. I'm sure a lot of you have heard how important it is for your business to be on Facebook. Facebook has helped a lot of businesses tremendously, and can it help yours? Oh, probably. Does your business thrive on word of mouth? If so, Facebook is a really, really good candidate for you. So some of you, I can see you shaking your heads, are on Facebook. Some of you aren't and do not want to be, and that's okay. But I got to tell you that having your business on Facebook, especially depending on your market, isn't even an option. It's something that you really should be doing. Essentially, Facebook gives you the exposure through the friends of friends. Those of you that are on Facebook can understand how powerful that is. It also helps to add social proof to your business. Let's say, for example, that I Google someone and I check out, a plumber comes up and I see on their site that they have a link to their Facebook page. And on the Facebook page, they've got over 100 friends. Well, you know what? That helps me feel better because this isn't some nameless person anymore. This is someone that has friends on